coming to know your Creator, you realize your purpose and which influence.
It's because we have a nice house does not mean that we have to always go around driving an expensive car.
Mm-hmm.
The mentality has to be turned around.
As an entrepreneur, you have to know when to drive and when to stop and ask for directions. You must check your rearview mirror from time to time to see how much progress you've made. You have to talk to those movers and shakers, those dream chasers. You have to know the north side, east side, west side, and south side of Atlanta. You have to follow your dreams at all costs. You have to know the heartbeat of your community. Well, thank you again, Deborah, for taking the time to visit with me here at Kate's Club. We're here interviewing you, the volunteer coordinator for Kate's Club. I'm interested in starting my own nonprofit organization, as you and I have talked about previous, and I want to find out as much information from those who have been there, done that, who are in the field, who are working hands-on with the community. And I know Kate's Club is definitely a bar none organization that, again, exemplifies that face of the Atlanta community. With that being said, with your position here at Kate's Club, can you tell me a little bit about what you do in your position, and also a little bit about what Kate's Club is?
I came here in 2010, and my background is I am a recreation therapist, and so I worked in a nonprofit in mental health for 10 years called The Bridge, and I transitioned here because I just wanted a slower pace, and I started my family. So I came here not knowing much about a small nonprofit. So The Bridge was a pretty large nonprofit, but this is a very small nonprofit, and I did not know anything about being a volunteer manager since I worked directly with the kids as a recreation therapist. So I came here and I literally just learned through doing. Wow. I knew the power of volunteers because I work with them at The Bridge on a interactive level, not managing and organizing them. Okay. So I kind of learned through doing, and I learned a lot more just about the power of small nonprofits and the importance of really supporting your volunteers and creating experiences that will get them to come back. Of course. And I think that was what has just been more of that life-learned lesson through the many years that I've been here so far. And then, so I've been here since 2010, so I think in the last several years it has been a little bit of that growing up process and kind of solidifying things and making sure that we're really doing the right thing, which in reality, even through learning just through doing, we are really doing the right thing. We have been doing the right thing. It's just kind of cleaning things up a little bit, which has been really interesting. Kate Atwood founded the organization in 2003.
So with that longevity that Kate's Club has sustained throughout the last 11 years going into this year, what is the key to partnering or even collaborating in the organization with other nonprofits in the Atlanta community?
I think it's developing relationships.
Of course, relationships.
And it's that donor relationship, it's the volunteer relationship, it's, you know, I mean, we have volunteers coming in that are grandparents of some of our members that want to give back and do something else. We have volunteers that don't have children, but they come here because they either have that personal loss. So when they have this personal connection, it really drives them stronger to the organization. And then when you provide an experience that's a meaningful experience, then they want to come back more and more and more. And so what I've been challenged to do is really like create these relationships with our volunteers, and that my policy is really like if something doesn't feel right, that they have to come to me me and be honest and open, and let's fix it. Because
course.
I'm not the end-all, be-all, perfect volunteer manager, but if I did something wrong, I want to make sure that we fix it and make sure that the experience is improved for the next time. So.
And as, again, with that experience, with the vision of Kate's Club going into the future, again, it's the 11th year that you're walking into. What do you exemplify as the vision for Kate's Club going forward?
I think it's just continuing the movement. I think it's the advocacy piece and the outreach piece. I think it's just getting more of the word out about grief and about death. And in society, Kate has learned over the many years that no one wants to talk about death.
Of course.
And it's usually the issue that is skirted under the rug, and let's not talk about it. It makes everyone sad, and it's really depressing. But here at Kate's Club, we provide these very intentional activities. So kids and families and volunteers, they kind of learn through doing. And if they cry, they cry. If they don't, they don't. If they laugh, if they have fun, it's all acceptable here, and no one is judged. So I think the retention for our volunteers is just, again, providing those really meaningful experiences that they can walk away knowing that they made a difference. And I think having them more involved and invested with their families. And so they're not just sitting and watching kids, they're engaged with the kids. They're leading therapeutic activities with the kids and their families. We just had Mother's Day hugs. So these are volunteers that are working directly with families and supporting them through sharing memories and talking about their losses, and just in an open fashion. And I think that's it. It's just providing this intentional, safe space for sharing. And I think the growth is we want to serve more kids. We want more kids to know about us. We want more families to know about us. We spent last year for our 10-year anniversary really focusing on the outreach and advocacy so people know. So school counselors know about us, so families know about us, so churches know about us. So it's never going to be a question like when a death happens, oh, there's Kate's Club.
Dealing with youth, what has been your greatest accomplishment that you feel since you've been at Kate's Club that you've seen with whether a youth was able to transition in a tremendous way because of your assistance through Kate's Club, or even one that touched you personally?
You kind of just hear the kids say, and these are, I'm not with the kids. I manage the volunteers and I train them to then be prepared to work with the kids directly. So these are volunteers coming back to us and sharing these stories, or we overhear the kids saying things. You hear them saying things like, I can't talk about things like this at home. I'm so glad that Kate's Club is here that I can actually talk. And I mean, like, it was just like a week ago where a kid said that I'm finally feeling confident enough to talk more. And that self-esteem, those are things, those are skills that, they struggle with at school, and they don't feel comfortable talking about things. And they feel comfortable here at Kate's Club, talking more, making friends, and developing these relationships.
I lost my mom and my dad. Well, I lost my whole family except for my younger sister. So my dad's Brazilian and my mom's Colombian.
Okay.
So, and I'm making my video in Portuguese.
Okay.
Yeah.
I live with my father, and then, like, he wasn't in my family. Well, he wasn't, like, we didn't see each other most of the time because we had an off and on relationship. And then he got arrested. So I lived with my mother when they got divorced, and he passed away.
That Kate's Club has made an impact on them because, they see this is the one part that, that just helps me. And grief never ends. Grief is that ongoing, never-ending journey. And so whenever, they transition to a different stage, like the next year could be a little bit different, and the next year after that is going to be a little bit different than the year before.
Yes.
And it's nice to have kids wrap their arms around other kids at camp to say it's going to get better.
Yes.
So here's a loss that just happened 6 months ago, and another kid loss that happened 5 years ago, and they're supporting each other. That peer culture, that positive peer culture is really
huge.
What helps kids.
Well, Ms. Deborah, I wanted to again thank you for taking the time out for meeting with me today. I'd love to come back. I'd love to come back and see again one of your events or possibly a camp to see exactly the in-depth lens of what Kate's Club actually does. If you'll have me.
You are welcome to come back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to emphasize the aspect that what you were destined to do, people can't do so easily.